Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Epic Games just had their yearly State of Unreal presentation at Unreal Fest Chicago, and alongside it, they officially released Unreal Engine 5.8. There were tons of announcements this year, new AI tools, huge workflow improvements, Metahuman updates, rendering optimizations, and much more. So in this video, we're going to be covering over everything that was announced during the State of Unreal, and everything included in Unreal Engine 5.8. And if you are new here to the channel, my name is Smart Pauly. I make all sorts of Unreal Engine news, content, and tutorials, so make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more future videos. Now, unlike previous years, there wasn't a giant live tech demo like we've seen previously with The Witcher 4 or Electric Dreams, but instead, Epic seemed to be focusing on something developers have been asking for years. We're talking performance, scalability, and improving the actual development experience inside of Unreal Engine. And honestly, that was one of the big takeaways from the State of Unreal this year. A lot of the features in 5.8 aren't necessarily flashy, but they are solving real production problems that developers run into every single day. For example, Epic continues to improve PSO pre-caching. Stuttering, which has affected tons of UE5 titles, has been largely reduced through shader pre-caching. Hitching and stuttering, which are usually caused by shader compilation at runtime, that creates those annoying frame spikes when you're playing. PSO pre-caching aims to pre-compile those shaders ahead of time so that the gameplay remains smooth. Epic continues to improve PSO pre-caching in 5.8, but they also mentioned that they're continuing to work with Microsoft and hardware vendors to further reduce shader compilation issues across the entire ecosystem. So it's great to see that Epic is focusing on performance improvements as we move into Unreal Engine 5.8. Now, the biggest new feature added in Unreal Engine 5.8 is Mesh Terrain. This is Epic's next generation terrain system, and it could eventually become the future replacement for traditional landscapes. Unlike traditional landscapes in Unreal Engine, Mesh Terrain allows for fully 3D terrain sculpting. So previously you could only sculpt up and down, but with Mesh Terrain you can sculpt in any direction. This means you can create things like caves, cliffs, overhangs, arches, and complex terrain formations that were previously not possible within the editor. Mesh Terrain also supports all the other systems like Nanite, virtual textures, world partition, material layering, water integration, and so much more. And Epic also mentioned that Mesh Terrain actually runs faster and performs better than the traditional landscape system, and here you can see they're actually using it inside of Fortnite. And for open world developers and environment artists, this is definitely a big change that Epic has made in the previous years. And before we continue on to the next biggest announcement, I want to quickly tell you about my Unreal Engine Masterclass course bundle. I just launched a brand new Unreal Engine Masterclass course. This bundles together all of my courses showing you how to make games inside of Unreal Engine. This Masterclass course has over 150 plus hours of learning content, and I will show you how to make 8 different games from complete scratch. You'll master multiplayer networking, survival mechanics, AI, user interfaces, game optimization, mobile development, and so much more. Included in the Masterclass bundle are all the completed game project source files, so you can use them as reference while you learn, or if you just want the completed game project, we have you covered. Check out the Unreal Engine Masterclass link in the description below, and with that being said, let's get right back to the video. The next biggest rendering update coming to Unreal Engine 5.8 is the new Lumen Radiance cache. Epic's goal here is simple: make Lumen run significantly faster. The new system uses a probe-based global illumination and radiance fields to provide a medium quality lighting solution that's dramatically cheaper than traditional Lumen, while still trying to maintain the overall look and feel of your scene. According to Epic, this solution can be up to twice as fast compared to high quality Lumen while targeting console level performance. And Epic specifically made this feature for handheld devices like the Switch 2, but also lower end PCs can still benefit from this if you simply just want better performance. And again, this is probably one of the most important additions in this entire release. Even if you're someone like me who typically disables Lumen for maximum performance, it's still great to see Epic continuing to optimize and improve the technology. Another rendering update is Megalights. After spending multiple versions in development, Megalights is now considered production ready. Epic has significantly reduced the noise, they've improved stability, and increased performance. If you're unfamiliar with Megalights, it allows scenes to contain massive amounts of dynamic lights without the traditional performance costs that you normally expect. And during the State of Unreal, Epic showcased Megalights being used in the new upcoming Gears of War. Everything from television, store signs, freezer lights, and environment lighting were casting dynamic area lights in real time, and it's a pretty impressive demonstration of just how many dynamic lights Megalights can handle while still maintaining performance. And I believe this demo that they showcased was running on the Xbox Series X. So it'll be interesting to see how developers actually start using this in production games. One requested feature from the community is finally here. Unreal Engine 5.8 introduces an experimental substrate toon shading, and this gives developers a much better workflow for creating stylized and non-photorealistic visuals inside of Unreal Engine. It supports things like local light, skylights, lumen, and provides detailed control over diffuse, specular lighting with the new Toon BSDF and Toon profile assets. For anime games, cel-shaded projects, or any stylized art style, this is a huge step forward. Moving into animation, Unreal Engine 5.8 introduces direct mesh controls. Instead of constantly selecting animation controls and control rig widgets, you can now interact directly with the character mesh itself. This makes animation workflows much faster and more intuitive, especially for complex rigs, weapons, fingers, or detailed character work. Having fewer control objects cluttering the viewport is a massive quality of life improvement. Epic also continues to improve animation pipeline overall, with updates to modular control rig, retargeting improvements, and additional workflow enhancements through the animation toolset. One of the coolest announcements from the state of Unreal was the new Metahuman crowd plugin. This new plugin allows developers to generate and manage large crowds of metahuman characters, ranging from dozens to thousands of NPCs. This system automatically transitions between high-fidelity metahuman characters and optimized crowd representations depending on the camera distance. It integrates directly with the mass entity system, supports modular clothing, hairstyles, body types, and includes sample projects. And the really impressive part is that you can potentially have thousands of characters on screen while still keeping performance under control, because it's built on top of mass AI and integrates naturally with Unreal's large-scale simulation systems. And if you guys want to see a separate video, I actually covered over the new sample project, so if you want to go ahead and watch that video, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But this feature is definitely going to become the standard way of creating realistic crowds in Unreal Engine moving forward. Epic also has massively updated the mesh to metahuman. Previously, you could only convert facial meshes to metahumans, but now in Unreal Engine 5.8, it allows you to convert an entire character mesh, including the body and face, into fully rigged metahuman characters. It works from arbitrary topology and can take models from scans, DCC applications, AI-generated characters, and even existing game assets. And along with this feature, they have released a couple of sample projects on the Fab Marketplace showcasing what this is capable of. Metahuman Animator is now available on Mac and Linux. This means that developers on non-Windows platforms can finally use Epic's facial performance capture without needing a Windows machine. And alongside that, Epic introduced a brand new markerless motion capture workflow. Instead of requiring an expensive motion capture suit or specialized hardware, developers can now capture full-body performances using a single camera directly inside of Unreal Engine itself. This dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for any developers who want high-quality motion capture animation without investing in expensive equipment. Another huge feature that got a lot of attention at Unreal Fest is the new MCP server plugin. This allows AI tools like Claude, ChatGPT, and other AI assistants to connect directly into Unreal Engine projects. The idea is that AI can understand your project structure, assets, blueprints, and editor context while helping automate workflows. It's still pretty early here, but it's clear that Epic sees AI as becoming a major part of future development workflows. At the State of Unreal, Epic showcased the MCP plugin, creating an entire city, generating a complete PCG graph from scratch. The MCP plugin has context over the assets inside the project, allowing it to place roads, populate buildings, and generate an entire environment automatically. And of course, everything actually remained editable afterwards because it created this entire PCG graph, so developers could still maintain complete artistic control because the result is using standard Unreal Engine systems rather than a baked AI-generated level. As you can see here, it created a pretty impressive environment from scratch, and because it's all PCG, you can still modify the splines, layouts, and assets however you want. This feels like Epic's first major step towards AI-assisted world building inside of Unreal Engine, and I'm definitely interested to know your guys' thoughts on this. Is this something that you'd be interested in using? Let me know down in the comments down below. Unreal Engine 5.8 also introduces a large number of editor quality of life improvements. Some highlights include new transform gizmos, better improved rotation controls, better scaling visualization, a new material shader ball preview, new improved static mesh editor previews, cleaner editor preferences layout, improved project settings, navigation, content browser, menu reorganization, and much more. Epic has reorganized large parts of the editor interface to make things easier to find and the workflows more intuitive. None of these changes were huge individually, but together they make the editor feel significantly more polished. And if you're someone spending 8 to 10 hours inside of Unreal Engine, these quality of life improvements can add up very quickly. Epic also continued improving several core systems, including the Mover framework, Mass framework, networking, animation systems, physics, and procedural content generation. PCG also received additional nodes and improvements. For example, now in PCG you can actually select objects and manually move them around and adjust them, which has been a highly requested feature since its inception in 5.2. So it's clear that Epic is continuing to invest heavily into systems that will help developers build larger and more scalable games. Overall, Unreal Engine 5.8 is one of the most mature Unreal Engine releases we've seen in a long time. Rather than introducing one giant headline feature, Epic is focusing on improving nearly every major area of the engine. We're talking about performance, world building, animation, AI integration, metahumans, rendering, editor quality of life fixes, and much more. And honestly, that's probably exactly what Unreal Engine 5 needs right now. So those are some of the biggest new features included in Unreal Engine 5.8, officially released today during the State of Unreal at Unreal Fest Chicago. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Which feature are you most excited about? Are you interested in mesh terrain, maybe metahuman crowds, or are you actually planning on using some of the AI tools inside of Unreal Engine? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more Unreal Engine news, tutorials, and videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one.